Welcome to our video where we will be exploring the most disappointing and biggest NFL draft busts of all time. Every year, teams invest in their future by drafting college athletes with the hope of bringing a new era of success to their franchise. But unfortunately, things don't always go according to plan. In this video, we will take a look at some of the biggest draft busts in NFL history, exploring the reasons why these players failed to live up to the expectations set for them. So, let's dive in and discover the most underwhelming and disappointing draft picks in NFL history. Zach Wilson, quarterback, New York Jets. The New York Jets have been struggling to find their franchise quarterback for years, and in the 2021 NFL Draft, they thought they finally got it right with Zach Wilson. However, after a disappointing rookie season and no improvement in his second year, Wilson is quickly becoming one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. With a QB rating of 70.9, an 8-14 record, and a completion rate of only 55.2%. Wilson's poor play has left his teammates and coaches frustrated. Despite the Jets organization believing he was better than Trevor Lawrence, Wilson's stats are now comparable to the infamous Jamarcus Russell. With his lack of progress, it's becoming clear that Wilson is not the solution to the Jets' quarterback curse. Akili Smith, quarterback, Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals were in dire need of a game-changer in the 1999 NFL Draft. They had one of the worst rosters in the league and were looking for a spark to turn things around. Enter Akili Smith, who had just come off a fantastic season at the University of Oregon, with 3,763 passing yards and a 32-to-8 INT ratio. The Bengals were convinced he was the one to build their team around and even turned down Mike Ditka's offer of the New Orleans Saints' 1999 draft picks, plus first-round picks in 2000 and 2001. In doing so, Cincinnati passed up on future Hall of Famers Edgerrin James and Champ Bailey, as well as NFL stars Chris McAllister, Torrey Holt, and Don Culpepper. The Bengals thought that Smith could be their savior. However, after a disastrous rookie season, Smith was benched in 2000 when things got even worse. The Bengals have not been able to recover from this mistake 2 decades later. Brian Bosworth, linebacker, Seattle Seahawks. When the Seattle Seahawks used their first-round pick on Brian Bosworth in the supplemental draft, they thought they had struck gold. Bosworth, one of the greatest college football players of all time, came with a massive ego and a demand for the largest rookie contract in NFL history. But expectations were high for the Boss when he arrived in Seattle, and he did his best to live up to them. He even went toe-to-toe with Bo Jackson and dragged him into the end zone. However, a shoulder injury forced Bosworth to retire in 1989, and he ultimately failed to meet the expectations set for him. Isaiah Wilson, offensive tackle, Tennessee Titans. Isaiah Wilson was supposed to be the Tennessee Titans' answer at right tackle when they drafted him with the 29th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. Instead, he quickly became one of the biggest draft busts in recent history. Wilson was arrested on suspicion of DUI just months after being drafted and found himself in trouble repeatedly. He was placed on the reserve/COVID-19 list twice and suspended in Week 13 for violating team rules. The Titans traded him to the Miami Dolphins in March 2021, but he failed to make an impression there as well. Wilson showed up late for a team physical and skipped 2 workouts, leading to his release. As of 2023, he is not on an NFL roster, and his career is over. Tony Mandarich, offensive tackle, Green Bay Packers. The 1989 NFL Draft is often hailed as one of the greatest in history, producing 4 Hall of Fame players in the top 5 picks. However, the Green Bay Packers made a monumental blunder by drafting offensive tackle Tony Mandarich. Despite having the opportunity to select legendary players such as Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders, the Packers chose Mandarich, who quickly washed out of the league due to alleged steroid use and poor work ethic. Mandarich's selection will go down as one of the biggest draft busts ever. Tim Couch, quarterback, Cleveland Browns. Throughout their history, The Cleveland Browns have been known for their struggles when it comes to the NFL draft, and their first pick in 1999 was no exception. With the first overall selection, the Browns drafted All-American quarterback Tim Couch in the hopes of building a franchise around him. Unfortunately for the team and their fans, Couch's career was a major disappointment. Despite starting 14 games in his rookie season, Couch won just 2 games and struggled mightily throughout his career. Even in his best years, he struggled with interceptions and injuries, and was out of the league after just 5 seasons. Today, the Browns continue to search for a franchise quarterback who can bring them success. Jamarcus Russell, quarterback, Oakland Raiders. In 2007, the Raiders made one of the biggest draft mistakes in NFL history by selecting Jamarcus Russell with the No. 1 pick. Despite his incredible arm strength, Russell lacked focus and motivation, and his career quickly spiraled out of control. Coaches and teammates knew early on that Russell was a bust, and he struggled with turnovers, weight gain, and poor performance on the field. The Raiders missed out on several future Hall of Famers, including Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Adrian Peterson, Patrick Willis, and Darrelle Revis. The lesson here is that arm strength alone does not make a successful quarterback.